Tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, roadies. It's a Spurs podcast. We are blessed today with a special guest, Mr. Bobby K. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show. Adam is a good welcome here as well. Brian is not with us today, unfortunately. I don't know. He's dealing with some travel hangover still. But Bobby, thanks for being here, mate.
I appreciate you having me on, guys. It's really nice to see you again. We haven't got to chit-chat in a little bit. I've been jumping in pretty much being a whore in every other channel. So it's nice to be back at my home base where it all started kind of thing.
I know. Since we've set you up, man, you're a man whore with the...
That's it, man. Like I said to you, Brian, I'm not even a whore. I'm a slut or a slag, as they say it in England, because I'm going for free. At least a whore can
you're not even
pocket some money.
It.
No, I'm just tramping myself out shamelessly. Yeah. And you know what? I love it.
Yeah, you seem to, mate. And
I fucking love it.
And let's be honest here, mate. You're a natural at it. You speak very well.
Yeah,
it's that Indian in you who can't shut up. You know,
I don't know how.
I don't know what to do.
Don't know. Where is the off switch?
You deliberately covered it up, I'd say.
Yeah, Mr. Clarke, good to see you too, mate. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty all right, man. Yeah, I mean, like there was a fairly good result on Monday night.
That helps,
a tough game coming up. Yeah, it didn't really make up for Middlesbrough, but look, it was a good thrashing, and we kept a clean sheet. So really, like I said in the community section, like I couldn't really have asked for more just for that game alone. Just a pity we can't play like that, you know, or at least make an attempt to play like that every weekend. But you know, is what it is. Like, and just have to press on and hope to God we can like break this ridiculous cycle we seem to be on against Man U at the weekend. Like,
yeah, some consistency, right? It's a frustrating situation.
Please.
I'm going to start with news that isn't Spurs related, but is Premier League related, and you'd be living under a rock if you aren't aware of the situation with Chelsea Football Club at the moment, with them basically being, completely sanctioned. Abramovich losing complete control of the situation, no longer able to do anything financially, including selling the club, which is, it's an interesting situation. I've done a lot of watching videos and reading articles about this morning to try to gain some sort of understanding of if this is a good thing or a bad thing for them. Because, for the club itself, it could be a positive. For the league, it could be a positive. For Spurs, it could be a positive. So that's where we'll tie it in a little bit. That third place finish, whether or not they'll capitulate because of the situation with the club itself, whether they'll rally, they may rally as a team and fight for their club. There's a lot of different possibilities here. Bobby, I saw you on the stream earlier today. You were sort of getting involved in a bit of that conversation. What do you know about it so far?
Actually, this is where I spoke to Sean from the Spurs
Sean,
talk and everything. What a wealth of knowledge he was and what the insight he brought into this, because the things he was basically saying is because of the sanctions and everything like that, they're very restricted in terms of what they can do right now. But at the end of the day, what now can happen is because they were listed for $3 billion, you can have an undercut price come in. So apparently he's saying something about the Dodgers owners, the LA Dodgers, the baseball team in America.
They'll be able to buy it for cheaper.
For half,
But they can't buy it at all until the sanctions are lifted.
Yeah,
so those sanctions could last longer than the rest of the season. They could last.
That's what I was going to say. It depends how long that stuff lasts, because if they could buy it for half price, and like Sean said, then if you buy a $3 billion club for $1.5 billion, then you've still got $1.5 billion that you can turn around and reinvest in the squad. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah,
you know
they're
not going to do it, but
not considering FFP in that situation as well. Like, you can't just spend it. Like, you have to. There still has to be some sort of gauge on how much you're spending it and how you're spending it within a financial year, like whatever that year
the fair
end
play
is.
rules. Yeah,
the year end is you got a section a space in time when you're able to do that. What ads have you done any reading or looking up at any of this stuff this morning or today? Have you been busy doing other things?
I heard yesterday rumors that there was this consortium trying to buy Chelsea, but that's up in the air at the minute. It's honestly it's a merry-go-round of people who are just trying to buy Chelsea. Then they discover that, hang on a second, now it's not as easy as we think, and then they back off a bit, and the thing continues. First of all, it was a board of trustees that was going to buy them, and that has just disappeared.
Yeah, I think they were given control. The board of trustees, they were already part of Chelsea Football Club, and they were given the ability to run the club. But
because Peter Cech is in charge right now.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, he is. Yeah,
he's the top of the food chain.
So that's
from what I know
changed.
right now, it's till the end of the month. right? Or sorry, not the end of the month, end of May.
End of May, which
they
is
were
the end of the season,
for
essentially.
now, right? Yeah. So, but who knows? You know what I mean? Like, let's face it, these, especially Man City and Chelsea, for some reason they get these sanctions put on them. They do all this dodgy bullshit and then turn around and that's okay. We'll take the penalty away from you.
Yeah, I think this is different than what happened with Man City, though, because of the international implications with war, and you know, it isn't the same as hiring 7 lawyers like Man City did and being able to manipulate a system within the system. He's been told to get out of the system. You're not allowed to do anything. Your money is frozen. You can't touch anything. He
can't fly anything. He's been on.
He can't do anything. He's basically wherever he is. He's
basically under house arrest.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think he's still living in Israel, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's probably stuck there. And the key thing here is I think for Chelsea Football Club and for the Premier League and for Spurs and any team that's fighting for top 4, Chelsea were already kind of like slowly showing a little bit of space there for any team to kind of come in and potentially take that 3rd spot. This does potentially, again, this is just speculative talk, that there's an opportunity here for any other teams that go on a run, and if Chelsea kind of fall off a little bit because of this, which there's a chance they might, to take advantage of it. So I'm glad this is happening. It's an interesting discussion. I've been chatting with a friend of mine.
You're saying that with a smile.
I know. I'm
really happy.
Yeah, there's a guy I'm on in my fantasy WhatsApp group who's a Chelsea fan, and we've been sort of back and forth with this argument. His argument is that what Chelsea did for the Premier League and bringing all these big players and making the Premier League better, and I think that's a load of shit, to be honest. I think
they dominated, like.
Well, but they did. But the Premier League already had done all of the deals with all of the TV rights, which is what arguably has made them as successful as they are. Not the ownership. The ownership, like Roman Abramovich and like what we've seen at City, that ownership that's come in has actually ruined the league in upping the prices for players, spoiling the shit out of them, making the transfer market ridiculous and difficult for teams that don't have the money to spend on it, and really just making it even further from top to bottom than it was before. And it hasn't really benefited the league in any way. But of course, Chelsea fans are deluded a little bit and think that's what's happened. But it's a bit silly.
It's you're spot on right there, Brian, because the thing is the ripple effect that it had on the league with increasing the financial commitment now from every single club is just
and not just the league, but European football.
Wiping out teams.
European football, like it went across all the way, like it went into La Liga, went into Liga, went into Serie A. All of those, you look at all those, both of those leagues themselves, how much they've gone down in stature because of the Premier League and because of the money in the Premier League, not necessarily the quality. The quality is definitely improved, and I'll give Chelsea fans that they were able to buy more expensive players than they probably wouldn't have previously, when they didn't have the money to, because they now had the money to. So that the improvement of players that were brought into the league was raised. But would that have happened otherwise? Probably, because the amount of money from all the TV rights that was brought in as well. So that's where most of the money comes from in the Premier League, is TV rights, not from these rich owners. The rich owners just spend it on themselves for the most part.
Well, if anybody knows about that, that's us.
Yeah.
Sorry,
exactly.
just a quick off-topic question here.
Shoot, Bobby.
I just turned I set myself up with a little massage chair here. Now I just turned it on. Can you hear that in the mic?
So enjoy.
Good. Okay. I just didn't want it to be bothering people.
In case anybody sees Bobby have a quiet joy during that's the reason why.
And I start drooling or something like that.
Man. I wanted to touch a little bit on that Chelsea situation, because I do think it's going to affect the league. I hope, and I hate to say this, I hate to say that this is how it's come. I've always wanted to see Chelsea and City and the teams who've basically cheated to get to where they are fail miserably because they don't deserve the success. They bought it. So that's a good thing. But it isn't necessarily good because of how it happened. Obviously, this is war that's affecting the entire planet. Nobody wants to see that stuff happen, and this, for that reason, is kind of shit. It shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place. The league let it happen, and of course that's escalated with what we now see with Newcastle's ownership. It'll be interesting to see how those both pan out moving forward, whether the league kind of decides to say, hey, we're going to tighten up all of this ownership situations, including what's going on at City, and maybe financial fair play starts to actually work, because they start to really
doesn't seem to now.
No, it doesn't do anything at this point. It's just sort of unless you're Everton,
it won't even be there.
Unless you're a club that actually doesn't have money, which is the strange part. Everton are probably going to get docked a point. It won't be this season because of the way the arbitration works.
I was going to say they don't have a point to dock. So
yeah, no, yeah, fair. They will likely get a point docked, but it won't happen this fiscal year. It'll happen next year, arguably when there might be in the championship. So that's messy for them. But they don't have the means to fight it. They're not City with 7 lawyers. They can go in and say, yeah, screw you guys. We're gonna spend our way out of this. Everton can't do that. They're not that rich of a club. So again, it's just pointing out how bad this type of ownership is for football in general and for the Premier League in general. So it'll be interesting.
But unfortunately, this is the future, Brian. This is the future. These guys.
It is or it isn't, though, Bobby. My point that I'm trying to make here is, and maybe I'm not coming across, is that maybe this is a point where the league says we're not going to allow this anymore. We need to implement rules for new ownership so that these things don't happen again. Because you've sold the soul of football in general by allowing these things to happen, because it's criminal. What he's a criminal. The ownership of City are criminals. They do it in a very within the system, but they know how to use the system because they have money to do it, and that's messed up, and that has to change. Or you're right, Bobby. Then it is just going to keep happening, and we're going to lose our game, which is
that's what I'm saying, Brian. That we've already lost the game. It's not about losing the game. We've already got to that point
to some extent. I think that's true. Yeah.
When you look at our reaction as Spurs fans when we go from winning 4-0 against Leeds, and we're all, we're the best. Yeah, come on, Tottenham. Then we turn around and we lose to Burnley. Then the reaction on social media is just horrendous. Calling out players, calling Twitter.
Spurs Twitter is hilarious.
Holy shit, the backlash and everything like that. So, it's nice. Like I said to you before in previous chats, that I don't care about plastic fans, because as long as you support Tottenham, I'm good with that. I might have to retract that statement, because if you're going to be a bipolar Tottenham fan where all of a sudden you love the club and the next minute you're bashing every player, every fan, this attack on each other, this bullshit's got to stop, because we at the end of the day are a Spurs community, and we cheer together, we laugh together, or we cry together at the end of the day. And the fact that we're turning on each other, it's all because of the way this ownership has gotten. That why can we not buy ourselves out of this situation? That's what we're really saying. We have to buy ourselves out of this situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, Bob, because I think when it comes down to our ownership, that's a lot of what the argument is online, right? Is the the hate for Levy, or the Levy in, Levy out sort of brigades on either side, the arguments that happen there. Our ownership, despite us, most of us, being disappointed with their functionality and how good they are at what they're doing, from a fiscal perspective, from a moral perspective, arguably, despite them being quite rich, are and have been doing things above board when it comes to that type of situation. They're no Chelsea, they're no City when it comes to ownership and trying to manipulate the system. They're doing it. They're doing it financially and fiscally sound, in a sound way. As much as that sucks for us because we're not seeing the investment we want back into the club. Yeah, it's straight up, Cody. It is interesting to note. One of my favorite things about our club is that we had done it the real way, not the way City and Chelsea had done it. That we were, despite not spending well, that we were still doing it above board and not essentially trying to cheat, which I thought was great. But
and that's the thing, we've done it with a little bit of integrity. So the game is about integrity. The game is about love. The game is about joy and unity, and all these things are being taken care of, right? So Roberto, I don't think you're going to find anybody that doesn't really have some sort of bone to pick with the ownership. Now,
it's just when you compare the two, right? When you compare our ownership to a Russian oligarch who's basically like manipulated the system,
a druggie, or whatever. However,
he's a mobster, right? It's like you've got a mobster running your club.
Yeah. So we're going to turn our way to the fact that you're selling women, selling children, selling drugs,
financing this war. Let's go there. Like that's where it's at.
And if you're okay with that, that shows the integrity of you as a person, and it shows the integrity of your club. So at the end of the day, if you're happy supporting a club like that, then shows your character as well. By all means, carry on. I'd personally rather continue supporting Spurs and watch them get relegated than support something like that
100%
pushes forth 100%. Those kind of ideals into the world. You know what I mean? Like we are historically poor club. We are the poor man's club. We are the, blue collar club. We're the, this was supposed to be for all the hardworking people in that area of Tottenham and everything, the new immigrants, the Jewish immigrants that had come in and everything like that. This was something to unify them. And that's what it really became. And it became a family atmosphere thing. And from there, I could see that our fan base grew like that as well over the years, over the generations, that we kept this family fan base kind of thing and respect for each other. But what's going on now and this attack on each other and everything is crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, it won't stop anytime soon because
Andy, he's
to attack each other, attack, like, even if it's for the stupidest of reasons.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm on here now. I'm not going to sit here just because I'm on these streams and being a part of this community and sit here and say I know everything and I'm the be all and end all of Tottenham. I know jack shit, and I'm learning that. The more I learn, get back to school, boy.
No, stay on.
That is absolutely brilliant, Christian.
He's
well
upstairs
done,
right now. Cheeky little bugger.
Thanks for watching.
Probably sitting up there with his uncle. He's here from England right now.
That is quality.
That is funny. Oh my goodness,
so good.
It completely threw me off there now seeing this.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I think it's time to
basically it's
go on,
like,
go on.
Regardless of knowledge, what we have, this is opinions. We are sharing opinions, and like I said, for me, the best part of this has been learning from the likes of Dermot, Mr. K, the Ben and Sim, and then all the other channels, Nick, and Ben Kaufman and Alan and friggin' King Arthur and everything, and Bob Spur and everything, and it's just the community itself is so rich and so amazing, and it's that toxic thing. Is it coming in from the new fans? You know what I mean? Is it just a bunch of trolls? We don't know.
I just think it's social media. I honestly think the on the grand scheme of things, if you took Spurs fans out of the social media environment and you looked at the amount of them that are bickering like that, it's really, really small amount. It's just it's keyboard warriors, right? People who love to go on Twitter and argue. There's a fella from another one of the channels that we used to work with back in the day, who likes to do that. You get involved and get into fights with people online. But when you meet them in person, it's completely different. That's not who they are. I think that just exists in social media, and I think every fan group, if you went and spoke to Chelsea fans or Man U fans or Arsenal fans, which we've seen from Arsenal Fan TV, how much they bicker on social media. But if you ask the larger amount of the fan base, they'd say that's not like us at all. So I think that let's just take the context into account. What happens on Twitter is not the fan base. It is a very small microcosm.
Like I say, they might be fans. They might not even be fans. They might be trolls. Who knows? And Brian, this is why I don't do this social media stuff. I have Facebook and this. That's it.
Yeah. We'll stay off of Twitter because it'll kill you.
I can't do it. I don't even keep up with my damn Facebook. I can't go.
Did you post ads? Did you post this Cody Mack one about here? It's just entertaining when we.
It's just entertaining when we lose and we win. Yeah.
Well, Cody is just as entertaining whether we win or lose, because Cody's Twitter is worth going on Twitter for. Shout out to Cody.
And that's Cody.
He's hilarious.
You'd be made up.
And that's our fellow Canadian up here in Muskoka.
He is, yeah. He's hilarious. Twitter though is always on point. So
yeah, I was hoping we'll all get together for that. What is it, the West Ham
game? Yeah. Codes, if you're listening, buddy, West Ham, come down to Toronto. We're all going to go to the yard and experience the game proper, and we'll do a stream for that, folks. So if you liked the stream that Brian and I did at the Scotland Yard earlier this week, make sure you look for that, because it's going to be a ton of fun. And we'll have all the lads, and of course we'll get Adam and Danny hopefully on the stream as well. We'll get them to chime in.
You can fly him over just for the game, right,
exactly, Adam? Yeah. We got the budget for that shit, right?
If I can afford it, yeah. No, yeah, hundreds of viewers.
I'll just write it off. I'll write it off. Adam, it'll be fine.
You know what? With your Canadian connections now, Adam, the only thing I think you have to worry about is airfare, brother. Everything else will be taken care of.
You got a place to stay.
You got to place a man cave's got 2 couches right here, buddy. So you want a bed upstairs? You want a couch down here? You
right here in full swing, people.
Good to go. All right, lads. Let's get into some football. We're gonna briefly speak about the Everton game, and then we're gonna get into the preview for United, which is arguably the main topic of today. But I wanted to start with that madness that was going on. Everton, I don't think I've even had a chance to chat with you about this at all, specifically in person, because Brian and I did the post-game stuff.
Right, Bob.
Great performance, obviously. Everton weren't fantastic. Another sort of, we've talked about this roller coaster ride we're on and the ups and downs, and I know you're working on a video about that. What are your thoughts on the ups and downs? And of course, going into this game, I think most of us were a little bit nervous, but also felt like, well, if should be the up, right? Because we just, it's the. What were your thoughts on the result and the performance from Spurs?
Well, the performance was good all round. Thought every player left everything on the pitch. We haven't seen that since 2 weeks ago against Leeds. So it was expected that we'd win somehow. Well, I expect us to win. Plus, Everton, to a certain extent, made us look better. If Everton themselves had been better, we probably would have won by less goals, but we still would have won. Just some of the passing, the playmaking that was being done by our players was phenomenal. It was some of the best I've seen this season. I asked this at the start of the stream. I'll ask it again. Why aren't we doing that every week? Why aren't we at least trying? I think it's stupid to say that we should be expecting them to put on this performance and win by that much every week. Because at the end of the day, they're human. But come on, are you honestly telling me that they made an attempt to do that and play that way against Burnley and Middlesbrough? Man, I don't think so, because they didn't score one poxy goal in either of those games. So consistency is needed. A better mentality is needed. I know it's hard with this ownership and how the mentality that they've instilled in the club trickles down to even the groundsman, because at this point he'd 1 week cut the grass fine, and then the next week he'd turn it into absolute muck, into a bog. So honestly, I don't know how. I think Conte needs to maybe switch up the tactics a small bit. Hint into what I'm going to say in my next video, or where I'll talk more in depth about that. But I think everyone, players, manager, coaching staff, need to make a good effort to change this around, because we can't continue on this for the rest of the season. That'll be crazy. But it would be typical Tottenham. But I don't want it to be typical Tottenham. I want a good Tottenham.
Wins.
Yeah, for sure. Frustrating, but amazing performance as well. Bobby, I don't think I've had a chance to chat with you about it as well. How did you enjoy the game? Were you able to watch it live, or did you have to...
I wasn't able to watch it live, but what I just saw something on the side here is actually, it's... Can you just go up to my little one's comment there, please? That he's eating a snake? I'm on break. First off, son, if you're watching this, break is BREAK. Okay? And I'm eating a snake.
What kind of snake exactly?
Why are you eating snakes? I have food up there for you, son. I had apple and yogurt ready for your snack.
I'm guessing he means shake, but
I'm hoping he meant snack. I'm eating my snack.
Oh, maybe yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah. You know what? If I don't embarrass myself, my kids will do it for me. So thank you, my son. I love you. I did not get to watch the game live, Brian. Because of my work hours.
I figured that. That's why I was checking.
Yeah, but I did watch the highlights, and after watching the highlights, I went and watched the replay of the entire game. And even though we scored 5 goals, there was still a few things that I think that we could have been improved in. There was a lot of, improvements in players and stuff like that. But again, like what Adam was already touching on, this is what pisses me off and drives me crazy, is that why can we not do this the next game again? Why do we have to do it one game and then that's it? It's frustrating as hell. And I think that's why we have such a emotional charge and discharge in our lives because of what these guys do to us. But the way they were passing the ball, Doherty, I don't know who put, lit a fire on his ass, but fantastic. Where did this man come from? It took him just over a year and a half for him to finally find his feet with us and everything like that.
Well, he's playing in his position, isn't he?
That's what I was going to say. We see what the difference is, that he was in his area. So what, this is fantastic, and he did so well. That pass up to Kane was just, beautiful to watch, and Decky was absolutely fantastic. But what I really noticed, and I've already said this, but I'm going to repeat it, is what a difference one player can make coming in. When Bentancur came in, the impact that he has compared to Winks being in that position, him starting the game and playing, and it's just absolutely the freedom it gives Højbjerg, because he knows that I have that trustworthy partner beside me that's going to help me. is phenomenal. You know, you see Højbjerg's game step up. You see almost the entire team elevated. So I'm going to retract my statement that I've been saying lately about I don't want to finish top 4, because now I'm seeing that one player can make a massive difference. I'm very anxious and excited to see what's going to happen in the summer, that if Conte finally gets the backing he needs and he brings in just 3 or 4 players, you know, obviously we need more, but if one player can impact our team this much, I think 3 more into the starting 11 could really push us up. But, you know, again, we still need to, but that'll be a really good stepping stone to start going in the right directions, to start showing the fans that we mean business, to start showing Conte and Kane that, look, we are going to start, you know, pumping up the volume here and start competing with the big guys and everything like that, and give you guys something to work for and be proud of. Because Kane is, you know, like we're talking about the Sol Campbell thing earlier this morning, that Judas piece of shit. You know, I'm sorry to say his name on the channel. But the way he left, you know,
you knew, Bobby?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Take a shower after that.
It's early, man. It's early.
It's right.
But you know, he the way he left and everything like that was dirty. Kane is basically coming out and saying, look, I love Tottenham. I want to win trophies here. But if you're not going to give me the opportunity to win trophies here, I'm going to go and win trophies elsewhere. You know, and I can't blame him. And this is the thing, you know, this is right on what these guys are, the comments that are coming up, you know, it's.
I want to get back to the topic of inconsistency, because I have a stat here, and Adam, you might want to use this for your video too, because this is ridiculous. I'm going to share my screen here, and this was probably going to tell us a lot about what we know currently when it comes to the time in between games. I don't know if you guys have seen this statistic. It's kind of nuts, right? Like, if all games under Conte, 5+ days between the games, we've got a 3-2 win, 2-1, 2-0, a draw, another 3-2 win, 3-1, 3-2. Last 7 games, 4 days or fewer between games, 6 losses and a 1 win.
That is crazy.
That's a nutty statistic. So this is telling.
But this is his history, is it not?
And well, it is and it isn't. I mean, he struggles in Europe generally, and so you could kind of goes with that, right? Like, if he plays more than 1 game in a week, he'll struggle in one of those games. And what is he focused on? He, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but from what I've seen from him, is more focused on winning leagues than he is on winning European trophies or even domestic cups. Despite his record in domestic cups is a little bit better, because
I'll take anything right now.
He doesn't have to prepare as much. But if you look at these statistics here, this is an absurd and obviously very, you know, telling set of stats here that shows that for the rest of the season, other than next week, which we play Brighton within a few days of playing United, and maybe that rescheduled Arsenal game, most game weeks we're going to have a full week to prepare. Knowing that, that's really, really good for us going forward for the rest of the season if this kind of form keeps up in that situation. So I just wanted to share that slide, because I thought, bloody hell, that's
insane. That's like, I knew that this was an issue. I didn't know that it was that.
That's,
like, you know,
to see it that clearly, and
it's crazy. Yeah,
for
side by side like that. It's you know, a strict column of losses, and
amount of L's on the right hand side is just ridiculous.
Yeah, but sorry, can you just pop that up one more time, right quick, if you don't mind, because there's something I also wanted to make note of in there. Like, we're not just talking about, you know, if you look at the top 2, okay, Chelsea, okay, we know that we have issues there, but then when you look at that last 5, what the fuck? Like, sorry, son, I know you're watching, cover yours. But seriously, what the hell is that? Like,
I mean, it's Southampton, Wolves, Burnley, Leeds, Middlesbrough. I mean, the Leeds one is a win, so that's the one game where we knew we were playing a really open team, and they were going to give us that opportunity to get in behind, and we saw that's what happened.
And they're missing their best player.
And missing best players. They had, you know, they were in shambles when it comes to their numbers. But yeah, you're right. I think that's a good point, right? And of course, you could look at the other side as well and look at the wins in that. There's the 2 best teams in the league, and we've got results from those when we didn't have games in the same week against Liverpool and Man City. You know, it's a draw against Liverpool, but it's a good result, and that result, in that game, we played very well against Liverpool in that game, and obviously the Man City game was a massive win as well, and having time to prepare for it tells you everything. When the thing about Conte is, and I think that has to be said as well, and I think somebody mentioned in the comments, is that he didn't get a summer transfer window. You don't get there's summer, just generally a summer for preparation and the transfer window itself combined. If he doesn't have that, he's going to struggle with development in getting his ideas out. Yeah, I think this was the comment, Rudy Toot. Thanks for pointing that out, because I think it's clear.
Good one, Rudy.
He needs time. He needs the time to manage the situation with the players and get them to understand the system. And when he only has 2 or 3 days to try to do that, to prepare for a certain team, he struggles with it. And this could be his downfall as a manager. But like I said, for the rest of the season, this is good for us, right? We go into the rest of the season with maybe one or two times where that might happen, and one of them is next week, and hopefully we can come off a win this weekend against United, and some momentum will be built, and then that Brighton game won't matter so much. But I don't think there's a heck of a lot too much more to talk about Everton. I think it was a great result. I think it was good performance from the lads, and really, really good to see the wing backs starting to play, like you said, Bobby, about Doherty. Doherty looked incredible, like the best I've seen him play in a Spurs shirt by miles. It was like, holy crap, that was the player we all knew from
Wolves. What we were buying, yeah.
At Wolves, he did that week in, week out. Like he was really
made the runs, made the passes.
Yeah, and he's.
I think he did it against us too when he was with Wolves. He just tore us apart one game, right?
I think his last game against Spurs, in a Wolves shirt, he got a goal and an assist. If I'm not mistaken. So, he has that in him, right? And so, it's good to see it. It's good to see that. It's good to see Reguilon come on, get a goal. Unfortunately, it looks like Sessegnon got another injury, which is just sucks for him, because he had some run of games and a bit of form developing, and some it's a difficult situation. So he may be back after the international break, is what Conte said today. So hopefully that's the case, and we'll see how that pans out. A couple other injuries, I think. Romero, it came off early. I don't know if that was injury based. It wasn't totally clear to me yet, but came off early. Hopefully it's just precautionary. He was on a yellow card, and they just brought him off, and it was to save him from getting a red. I love that tackle though on Richarlison. He just butchered him. That was an old school tackle, right?
See him go down, like, it was just fantastic.
He saw him coming, and all he saw was the Brazilian colors. He's like, I'm from Argentina.
They got
some serious discord.
Well, they got a history, right? They got a history internationally. I don't know what it is from a club level, if they had some other things happen in different games for different teams, but they don't like each other, and you could just see it during the game. And Romero, man, he is just, for him to be that aggressive and that nasty, and that still,
young,
and still be slick though, and really good on the ball. Like, he's got a little bit of everything and what you want in the center half. Hopefully he can, maintain some better decision making in certain situations when we can't afford to lose him.
He's still young, Brian. He's still young.
Yeah, he's very young. He's very young, but very intelligent.
He's going to learn. He'll get stronger. He's into the league. He's gonna. I can see him spending the summer bulking up, working on his fitness, because as much we're on the fence regarding Dyer, he's just been phenomenal.
He's been brilliant.
The stats
I don't think you could be on the fence.
Him in the squad is just.
Sorry.
Come say hi. Him in the squad has just made a big difference. And for those of you that are wondering, there's little K. He's done eating his snake.
How was your snake, buddy?
Good one.
It's a good snake. Tasty. Yeah. He said, yeah. Had it with ketchup.
Good stuff.
All right, son. Good stuff.
Tasty.
Bring me some snake with cheese. Yeah.
Amazing.
But he's just so phenomenal, and I just think that he's going to pretty much pick up a few things off Dyer and everything like that. So
I think they're learning off each other, Bobby. I think we're seeing Dyer more solid and better on the ball, and there's good communication, and they made the rest of the defense better. We know when those two are in that the defense is better, but it makes the wing backs feel more comfortable when they know they've got Romero, Dyer, and Davies, to be fair, needs to be given a
Good up, Jamie.
Yeah, Bobby has bumped Brian.
He's in the trunk of my car.
Back in Canada, he went and found him. But yeah, I think our defense just looks way more solid with the two very good defenders in it. But the wing backs look like they're comfortable and they can get forward, and we look more solid across the board. Another quick shout to our newbies in Bentancur, who was absolutely fantastic, and Kulusevski, again, another really good game.
He was great.
Two players to buy in a January window who have just come in and they look completely comfortable,
settled.
Amazing to see that. That's what world class players do. Great attitudes, understand what Conte wants, and know how to give it. So that was my last shout out in that game.
Can I just say though that
go ahead. Let's go.
Dickie's left foot does look quite deadly as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But his intelligence, that's what I respect.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy crap, this kid
that guy
is
knows how to
so
play.
smart.
Very
The
smart.
way
What's going on up here, like,
kind of
and
stops,
he's
he
quick.
takes a look around.
Yeah, he can think fast as well on the fly, which is something
football
that
brain
we
is great.
need. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Our Swedish
He's not a bad
sharing
cross as well, I think.
Yeah, you know what it does. What it's done for us is that front three, as much as Lucas Moura had moments, it wasn't complete. It was like a front three that was like missing that one little bit of element of finish, of giving numbers, of giving those other two players the ball, like being able to create assists, link up play. Like some of the passing with those three was just absurd, and the movement off the ball when the other one had it, and just seeing things, vision and football brain. Those three, like, I mean, it's arguably one of the best front threes right now in the league. And it'd be hard to argue other than maybe with Liverpool's regular front three. Of course, City have a front seven. You know, they can do whatever they want. But
but what you said there, Brian, is the big thing: the movement off the ball.
Yeah,
because there's been so many times that I'm watching games and it's like
static.
I'm looking. I think I'm watching Christian's team or something where it's you got some players that are just they've been signed up to play because their parents want them to play, but they don't want to be there and they're just kind of walking
around,
on the field and we have to play them because it's a house league and we have to give equal time, equal players, equal opportunity, equal position. So we give the kids, all of them, a chance and try to make them better, but it's just like they don't want to be there. So the amount of times I've seen that now, it's frustrating, and I think that's something that frustrates all of us. That's one thing as Spurs fans can unite and agree with, is that we just get frustrated when we see that lack of effort, and especially when we see Kane putting in 130% on a consistent basis and guys not even putting in 60%. You cannot fault the guy then when he turns around and says, you know what, screw you guys. Like, you don't want to come to my level. I'm trying to raise your level.
Yeah,
I'm challenging you. I'm throwing down the gauntlet saying, this is the level I play at. Get your asses in gear and bring it on up. But no, you decide to drag me down instead. So any anchor in your life, no matter what we go through in life, the personal, work, whatever, any anchors in your life, we're going to cut that damn chain. Any intelligent person would cut that damn chain, let that anchor float, and you keep sailing on. Yeah. And that's what I fear is going to happen with Kane. But this is why I'm
you add Kulu to that, though, he starts to feel a little bit more like there's something there.
There's something there. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, with Bentancur now, he might be, hold on a second. We've got just these two guys.
We're close. We're really close. Yeah.
Where we just need a few more key pieces in the puzzle. So at the beginning, I was, did Paratici just kind of help his old club out by giving them money for Vlahovic while we took these two players off their hands? There was that whole argument going on and everything, and it did, on the surface to anybody. A lot of people were saying that, right? So, but maybe he does know what he's doing. We think that other leagues that you can go look in, but maybe the man, we got to give him a little bit of credit because this is his first real, contribution with Hitchin gone and everything that we can solely say this was Paratici's doing. He's the one that kind of
Adam's trying to chime in here. Let's get you there, buddy.
Actually, you know what? I can chime in. I can say what I want to say after I first bring up and get to
Bobby. Thanks,
so
brother.
Step out as always, man. So good to see you've recovered as well from COVID. Just wanted to say that to you. He says Benny still gets dispossessed too easily for my liking, but potential is clear. Decky, young Ginola vibe. You got peeps. I'm off to eat my snake. Make sure you cook it thoroughly, man.
Some good protein in that snake. It'll help you grow your muscles back.
You don't get good snake in your part of England. You come over here and we cook it very nice. Very good curry sauce.
I hear actually you can put snake boil into like vodka and stuff as well, or like
a little bit on the super chat from at the beginning of it. I think Benny gets dispossessed too easily. I think that is true. Yeah. I think that's a little bit of the playing in Italy for a period of time has kind of gotten to him. Yeah. He doesn't recognize the pace at which he's going to be closed down. And when it does happen, he's a little bit surprised and ends up maybe giving the ball away. But when he does respond and react, it's just class. His passing is class. He sees it. He's in between the lines. There was a moment against Everton where he looked like Dembele. From a transitional point of view, what Dembele used to do for us was he got the ball, he had 2-3 players around him, spun in between those 3 players and just came out the other side. Yeah. It was like, what just happened? Yeah. And then delivered a beautiful pass between the lines. That's what we've been missing. That's why everybody's pissed off at Harry Winks, because he doesn't do anything remotely close to that. Yeah. And despite Bentancur, needing to grow a little bit in the league and understand that he's going to have less time on the ball, his quality is going to, I think, we'll get past that relatively quickly. I think he's started 4 games, I think, something like that. So with a minor injury in between, I think we're going to see him shine massively.
And unpopular opinion, he's already looking better than Højbjerg.
Yeah, I don't think that's unpopular. I think it's hard to argue. I think Højbjerg, though, looks way better with him.
Yeah.
So if you take Winks out of the squad, every player around him is better. So it's clearly Winks is the issue. And Højbjerg had a great game. He wasn't incredible, but he did his job. He didn't have to try to do somebody else's as well. And that's when Højbjerg struggles, I think, when he's forced to do other things. So, did you have something else you wanted to say over and above that?
No, I actually lost track of what I was going to say. But
for so long. You had your hand up. Sorry,
it's no problem, lads. Anyway, I have a new thing that I want to address here anyway, so it's fine. And I agree totally with Tony's commentary saying that Kulusevski makes Doherty better. I think there is a great partnership in the works there.
I agree.
And if Doherty can just keep up this consistently, I know asking for consistency is a lot at the moment with us, but if Doherty can just keep consistent, like as much as he can, then there is a great partnership there in the making. And also, half of our problems then in that position are gone.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think you're right. I think the only thing I would add to that is the depth in it. We need another player to compete with him, or if he gets injured, if he gets injured, we lose that, and that's a massive loss. To go from saying, hey, we now have a right wing back, and then that wing back gets injured, and then we have to go back to relying on Royale. That's probably yeah, exactly. So he has to stay fit, and then we also have to find a replacement in the summer to compete with him, so that and maybe even a better player, so that Doherty has to level up as well, and makes him better. So that's the sort of the point of competition. You want to speak to the super chat?
I have a very special person here. You're like with a great super chat.
Thank you.
That's like, I mean, big up to you. Like she says, big up Tottenham On Tour, great guest.
Bobby K.
Sorry.
the one and only. Cheers. It's good stuff. So I think it's time we get into the United game. I just want to say to folks in the chat, we're going to discuss United. So we'd love to get your questions to respond to, but make them United related. We don't want to go back to topics we've already discussed and kind of get off the boil a little bit. So we're going to talk about United. So any questions that you have about the fixture at the weekend, get them in, get your super chats in. It'd be amazing as well. Help support the channel if you're able. That'd be fantastic. But we'll talk about United now. Bobby, going into this game, of course, we've talked about our inconsistencies. It's been their biggest issue the last while. We brought up that slide. We showed the difference between games. We've had six days between the Everton result and playing United on Saturday. That's a lot of time to plan. This team, United, are going to come out against us. They're not going to sit deep. They're not going to pull a Burnley. That's where Spurs struggle. We know that. Every other team knows that, yet they still try to play against us. How do you see this going? United coming out at us, 6-1 last season in this fixture. Do we see a repeat in that?
I'm actually hoping that we're going to continue the trend with the after the bad results where we had a 4-0, 5-0. Now we're due for a 6-0. But that being said, this is where kind of the uncertainty comes in, because now we look at, okay, our history has been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Technically, we're due for a loss, right? Going to that side of the spectrum. But then when you look at the stats that you just pulled up with the days of rest in between, we have traditionally won those games and got good results.
And the style of football really they play, which is a key part of it as well.
It's I know there's discord at United right now. I know there's a whole issue about something that Ronaldo was fit for the last game, but Ragnick said no, he's not fit, and something about the medical team, they didn't want him to play. And then his sister, Ronaldo's sister or something, tweeted saying that no, he's completely fit. They're just not letting him play. Poor decision on your part.
I heard he decided not to play. So because he was on the bench.
That's what I heard as well.
And he didn't want to play because he was on the bench. He was being a whiny bitch, essentially.
Okay, and that's great. That's great for us to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you don't bring in a player like Ronaldo and bench him.
I agree. I think
that's like us turning around and benching Kane.
I think it's a little different. Ludicrous. I think it's a little different, and here's why.
Well, they've got support. We don't.
Well, no, I think it's different than that. I think it's what the system is that they want to play, and he doesn't fit into the system. So you have to play around him rather than the team playing with him.
Yeah.
The thing about Ronaldo is it's very specific. He's not going to track back. He's not going to be. It's not going to press heavily like in a front three. He might do it a little bit, but it's minor, and he doesn't do it with the team. He's not part of a unit. You're focused your whole game on what's going to happen on his end rather than how is the team going to function. I thought United at the weekend against City looked more organized and better without him in the team for at least for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then they kind of lost the plot. But
as soon as it went down 2-1, it's like everybody
gave up. It looked
they
like
just gave up. They literally at 2-1.
Their shape was much better in the first 10, 15 minutes as far as how they looked like they were going to play in a 4-3-3 without focusing on just the one player. So that's a point. Ads, you want to add something?
And you know what? In the first 15 minutes, you're saying that if I'm not mistaken, United looked like that. How is it?
Yes.
Or Man City? Yeah. So I mean, when you have got a huge habit this season of switching off and just not turning on in time in the first or 2 minutes of a game. So we can't afford to do that now if United are just going to be up for it in the first 15 to 20 minutes. We have to play, a 90-minute game here, not be one half FC, not be 75-minute FC.
We got some questions. There's a couple other ones I've seen come in as well. So let's kind of go through these. Get the
Carol's first. So he says, do you think this United defense will be able to go up with our front three? Short and quick answer, yes.
No, you think they will?
It depends who's in there because
you meant no. You meant no. I was gonna say I'm helping you. I'm like, really? Because Maguire is fucking terrible.
He meant the other yes. The other yes.
The other yeah. And I think Adam's right. It is a short answer, Carl. No, absolutely not. They struggle against the type of football we're going to play against them.
But Luke Shaw, is he still out?
I think he is. Luke Shaw's still out.
So was Shaw out
Tellez
and then
will start. Varane's still out, is my understanding. So it's going to be Maguire and Lindelof in that center too.
So the least amount of pace that they have out of the options that
they're
going to
get shattered by that front three for sure.
But that's if our front three show up. Unfortunately, we all love Sonny, but he has had some ups and downs recently.
That's not recently, Bobby. He's always been like that. That's
no,
Sonny.
But he's been really it's been really bad lately compared to what we're used to seeing. For some reason, he's not.
I think
he's stopped that forward run that keep pushing. He's cutting back all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of that.
I agree. He's been doing that, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's a something that's happened with him physically, or if it's just age or whatever. He just doesn't seem to do that flare right up the wing where he just keeps going. Cesc did that for the first goal against of Everton, where he just continued that run, and look what happened because he continued the run. The ball found him. He was able to, because he continued the run, he was able to keep the ball in and play it in. So I'm hoping that it's something along the lines of maybe he just needs a rest and we bring in Bergwijn then. And, I don't know why
Bergwijn.
Oh my God.
That's the first time I've heard that one before, Bobby.
Like that. Oh my
Bergwijn.
God.
All you have to do is
I like Bergwijn.
Bergwijn. Just say that. You're good.
No, it's Bergwijn.
Bergwijn. Okay,
my friends are Dutch. They said it's Bergwijn. I've shown them the name.
They?
Yep.
Okay.
My best friend's Dutch, so he said
I'll ask my Dutch friend, and we'll see what she says.
Yeah.
They're Canadian Dutch.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Canadian Dutch.
Where's your Dutch? Yeah, Canadian Dutch and English Dutch is very different.
Tune into the next episode of what is his
name?
Tottenham On Tour.
Yeah. We'll spend 3 hours talking about it. Yeah. Regardless, we've got to get him some.
Yeah,
rest and everything.
I'd like to see Bergwijn come in and play against.
Vin. We want to win.
Yes, I would like to see. Yeah, see, that's your Indian coming in. I'd like to see him get a bit more time because he did have a couple of runs there where he looked like he was starting to play well. I still think Sonny's finishing, just generally, even when he's off the boil, his finishing is still very good, and he's still scoring goals. He's still getting involved in the play in a way that makes defenses very uncomfortable. And I don't think Bergwijn offers that, even when Sonny's not playing as well as we know he's capable of. He still drags players to him. He still makes space for other forwards around or other players around him. And I think that's important. I think it's going to be hard to not have him in that starting lineup.
No, he's got to start, but I don't think he should do the full 90 minutes. I think we've got to eventually, hopefully we can get up 2-3-0 and then give the guy a break and let him have a bit of a rest, because I think this whole Kane, if we're going to really make a push for this top four now, we're going to heavily rely on these two, because
Well,
they are the ones we rely on. They're the
best
ones we consistently rely on, right?
Team. Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that we're handling them properly as well now, from the physical standpoint of what's going to be coming up. Now, in a way, we're beneficial that we don't have other competitions to worry about. So they're going to get the breaks. They're going to get the rest. They're going to get the proper training.
Key, I think.
And from my understanding, Conte's, a lot of people, he really cracks the whip in his training sessions. He really, really pushes you to the brink and, takes all of your energy out. So is there going to be a change maybe in him kind of lightening up on the boys and letting them get prepared physically and stuff like that to kind of regenerate as well? These are all questions, unfortunately, we're not going to know until after the game. When the game is ended, we're going to see, what the result was of how his preparation was. And it's going to be interesting to see what really happens. But, Sonny at 70% is better than 80% of the players in the league at 100%. Easily.
Ads, you had something you wanted to add, mate?
No, I put my hand up and then I just retracted what I was going to say because it wouldn't have made much sense. But actually,
I don't make any sense. It's okay.
You want to read the question then, Adam? Or?
Yeah, no, I'll just get to end WB's question here. He says, "How do we shut down Pogba? This is United main threat, it seems." No, sorry, that is United's main threat, it seems. When he actually decides to make an effort in games, I mean, if he even bothered half the time, to show up for games and to just play to his full potential, he'd be one of the best midfielders in the world. But he's not. He does it whenever he wants to, and there's a lack of discipline there, in my opinion. To be honest, just a lack of care, to be honest. So I think if Pogba doesn't show up, it's an easy day for Bentancur or and Højbjerg in that midfield.
I think to add to that too, and I agree, Ads, that's a good point. I think if he shows up is key. I think there are other players that are more consistent than him that I'd be worried about, like Bruno Fernandes of the world. I would
Bruno, good one.
Probably him, and Sancho's on a good run at the moment. He started to play some good football, and he scored a cracking goal against City. But they're just very disconnected when it comes to their shape and what it is that they're trying to do. And I think that's management, and that's of course because they've had such a fluctuation and similar to us and who's doing what, and different managers come in, different ideas, and they look a bit confused. Is there anybody else that we should be worried about in their front three? Do they have I don't know. I'm not worried about them.
No, they've been so inconsistent. Rashford's off. Sancho's
they're not scoring
off.
a lot of goals either, are they?
Ronaldo, is he going to play? Who knows? It's we don't even know who's going to be up there really at this point. If it's going to be a front three, a front two, a front one. From my understanding, is Cavani still out, or is he going to be back now? Or
I think he's still out as well. Let me take a quick look. Ads. There's a couple more questions there that we could get to.
I think he's still out.
So he asked, "Does the media circus from United being so quiet this week worry you?" I don't really pay much attention to the media circus around United, mainly because I think I'd lose brain cells over it if I bothered. So, but it doesn't really worry me that much.
But what happened yesterday because of the Real PSG game and PSG getting knocked out again now? Apparently over there, all of France is calling for Pochettino's head now, and now the rumors have resurfaced about United going in for Pox in the summer, this, that, and everything. So in a way, it's kind of caused more fraction in the squad and everything like that, or even it's kind of undermining the manager that, look, we're lining up your replacement kind of thing. Now, we know he's only supposed to be there till the summer anyways, but it's again, more just adds to that media shitstorm kind of thing. And we know the British media is absolutely fantastic at doing that. I'm more concerned about really what the issue is with Ronaldo, because if he is being that sourpuss little shit in the dressing room, then I think that's our biggest bonus, because that's going to because if your best player is being toxic, that's great for us, because it's going to cause that rift in the dressing room, and I think that's going to really benefit us, because regardless of the results we see our team is still almost. They treat each other with respect. We are still the nice guys, we are, we don't really, you don't see players calling each other out, which we do want to see sometimes. Like Dyer's the only one really shouting and screaming out there and stuff like that. Very few of the guys raise their voices, but we don't see that that rift. You don't see that. You don't hear these stories coming out of the Tottenham dressing room about this man hates this man and this happened and this fight and this person said
cliques and whatnot that go on there.
Yeah.
They've got just from an injury perspective. Sorry to interrupt, but just
no, you have to. I'll keep going.
Yeah. Edison Cavani is still out. Varane's still out. Both with Cavani with the groin injury. That could be a while.
Yes,
especially at his age. Varane with an illness. Luke Shaw with an illness, and of course Greenwood out from suspension from his.
Sorry, before Luke Shaw, who was it?
Was Varane, Raphael Varane. Also,
so Varane is out. Greenwood's out as well.
Well, we know Greenwood's out because of his suspension for what he did to his girlfriend, and we probably won't see him for the rest of the season. Maybe never even play in a United shirt again. So
I don't know how that slipped my mind. What a piece.
No, it's
of
all good.
Yeah,
it's all
I forgot
good.
about that. Yeah.
From an injury perspective, that's us. Spurs injuries are Sessegnon is currently undisclosed, but I think it was something to do with his hip. Oliver Skip out for quite some time, and of course Tanganga out still as well with a knee injury.
What is going on with the Skip thing? Does anybody know?
Skip, I've just seen there actually came up on notifications that during Conte's interview he said that he's very worried about him. So that's
he does seem worried because of it's an ongoing problem that they don't seem to be able to figure out what it is that's happening. So it's difficult to know. And of course, I think Conte's biggest issue when he said in the press conferences was, I don't have any other midfielders. So that's his issue. So if he doesn't have Skip for the rest of the season, and we do get Bentancur does get injured, or that would be obviously the worst case scenario. But Højbjerg gets injured, and you've got to play with Winks and.
You push Dyer up there and you put Sanchez. I would play Sanchez over Winks any day. As bad as
I agree with that.
I don't know
that Conte is going to think that way, because he's going to play players in their position. He's not going to just start moving players around. Even if he does know that Dyer has played in the midfield before, I don't see him doing that unless it's Højbjerg that's out, maybe, because if Højbjerg goes out, you lose some sort of destruction in the midfield that's going to break up play, which is what Dyer might bring to the table. Ads, you wanted to add something? Sorry.
Yep. Oh no, sorry. I just wanted to ask this and to bring up Catman Jess's question here. If that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, yes. Do you guys think Man U playing Atletico Madrid in the Champions League on Tuesday night will affect their starting lineup? Maybe they rest some guys. I'm going to answer this first and say, to be honest, I don't think it'll affect it that much, because it's not like they're playing on Thursday night or anything. Like Tuesday night to a Saturday, I think you have just about enough time, for the players to get enough rest, like in your starting lineup so I think they've all gotten enough rest, and I don't think we'll see that many changes unless some of them have high fatigue levels or something. I don't think it'll affect it that much. But I mean, it's a good point to raise, Catman, to be honest. And it's something that could happen, but we're gonna have to see when the team sheets fly out on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. What are your thoughts on that, Bobby?
Well, if they don't change the lineups, then we have the advantage again of hopefully playing tired players that won't be able to go the full 90 and might even start sluggishly. These are the kind of games that we can't start sluggishly. We can't be second half FC. We have to start firing right from the beginning. And this is if that's the case. Conte is no slouch when it comes to looking at the other team and seeing who they're playing and everything like that. And he'll take this into consideration and see who played in that game and who is starting now. And hopefully then if we see that one side of the field or the middle of the park is lined up with the same players that just played a few days ago, let's attack those areas immediately then. Let's get in there.
Isolate them, right?
Let's immediately press these guys. Let's push in those areas that we already know that their fatigue levels might be a little bit lower, their energy levels might be a little bit lower, their mental, physical stamina might be a little bit lower. Let's drain that little bit of that energy that they're going to start the game with immediately, so that they just kind of slowly fizzle out for the rest of the game. But we have to do that immediately. This is the one thing that frustrates me with us. In every game, regardless of the result of the game, we are starting slow. And we need to really kind of.
I think the City game is the only game I can think of in recent memory where we started fast and made them uncomfortable.
Well, even Everton, we got that early goal.
The City game is the only one I can think of, and we got lucky in Everton with an own goal. To be fair, that's 15 minutes in, and it wasn't.
And because they were so shit.
Yeah, but it was a good play. It was a good build-up play to get to that point, and of course we had to do that in order for them to get the own goal. But I agree. I think that starting quick is going to be key in making them really uncomfortable. The key for Spurs is when Spurs are made to be uncomfortable, we suffer. When we make other teams uncomfortable, we thrive. And that means that the press has got to be on. That means we've got to win the ball back high up the pitch, try to regain possession, and then boom, attack, which is what we saw them do against Everton brilliantly. So if we can do that against against United, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, let's do some lineup predictions just before we do that. I like doing that, but I want to quickly just go to the table a little bit here because I was looking at it. You know, we're on 26 games played. They're on 28, so we have 2 games in hand against United. Currently in 5th. They're currently in 5th. We're currently in 7th. They're on 47 points. We're on 45. So we beat them in this game. We go ahead of them in the table, and then of course with a game and 2 games in hand still to potentially go 6 points or 7 points past them. Massive game. Huge game for the table. Huge game for both teams. I just wanted to point that out because I think it's it adds to the weight of what's going to happen in this game. But Ads, did you want to start with the starting lineup? Do you want to go through all of them quickly, or do we each want to
just quickly?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Let's not.
Like I'm just gonna cut the chase and say what lineup I want to see, player wise. So the recent goal, obviously, Doherty on the right, Romero, Dyer in the defense. Of course, I want Ben Davis to start as well. If there's room for him, please tell me if I'm accidentally mentioning a 12th man here. So I want also.
No, that's right. 3 at the
back. If
back.
Sessignon is injured, then Reguilon to start. I want Kulusevski on the left wing. I want then of course Bentancur and Højbjerg in the midfield. Rooting it up there, being solid as always, and of course as always Kane and Son up front.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to argue with that. I think that we've seen Conte be pretty consistent with his regular starting. Like the 11 picks itself, like who's available, who's fit. If you're fit, you're going in, and that seems to be the case. I couldn't see any rotation from that at all. Bobby, any thoughts? Do you think the lineup will be different than what Ad said?
No, not with the only thing I would say is put you'd have Kulusevski on the right instead of the left there. But
I think that was just an error. And
that's because that's where he's been cutting in and making the passes. Then you've still got the 3 up front, the prong with Kane in the middle, and then Son and Decky on the sides of him, then Takora and Højbjerg in behind them, and then you've got the 5, the little happy face at the back there. The only difference is instead of Ben Davies there, I would start Jay Kang at left back, and of course I'll give Sonny a rest, and I'll start Christian.
There you go. All right, boys.
and
they're both 84 rated.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, they got some good statistics there.
Yeah,
I worry about Christian's defense statistics though. There as a left winger. I mean,
Sonny's not that great defensively either.
Doesn't track back, I guess, right?
Nah, he's the natural predator, man.
He's a little short. He's a little short. His legs don't get him there at time. Right?
Exactly. So give him a chance. Yeah, he's still growing into his legs, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can see there he is. He's back.
Oh man, that's great.
But it's look, Nick's giving him his own song already as well. This is okay, guys. It's bad enough that I'm stealing other people's thunder. My little one's coming and stealing all mine immediately.
It's great. I love it.
Grab the show.
Yeah, just give him your gear. We'll get him on a regular. It'll be fun.
You know what, buddy? You're going to see him at the West Ham game. I think that we might have a hard time getting in front of the camera with these two.
That'll be fun, man. That'll be fun.
Getting in there, right? So it's going to be a good time, man. And the lineup itself, there you go, son. There you go. Thank Nick. The lineup itself, kind of, as bad as this is going to say, it doesn't mean shit unless the players show up. This has been the thing for us where we've just had a little inconsistency with the form and everything. So if Doherty, we got to see which one shows up. That's the biggest.
Our biggest
concern is over there. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody else is great. There's no really issues, anything. Like I said, even Son at 70%, I'd rather have him on the field than pretty much anybody else we have as options. I'd just like to give Bergwijn. I'd just like to see him get a chance because I don't know why he's not getting into the squad.
Again, I think it comes down to that consistency issue. I think the players who aren't playing regularly are the ones who don't perform week in, week out whenever they get chosen, unless it's desperate, like when we have to play Winks because we don't have anybody else. That's kind of the issue there.
Yeah.
Well, I think Bergwijn is fine where he is as a super sub.
Yeah, I think maybe getting him on a little earlier would be the thing we're talking about here is when Sonny does play 70 minutes and starting to look like he's getting a little tired, just sub him out early. Get Bergwijn on and get him to some playing minutes, and get him a chance to score some late goals like he has done for us this season. I think it would be a key. Okay, before we get into who are you, because I haven't even told Bobby we're doing this, so it'll be fun to see his response to it. But let's get some score predictions. Yeah, exactly. Let's get some score predictions.
Christian, help Daddy.
It's not a big deal, Bob. It's not a big deal, Bob. It's easy stuff. Adam, score predictions for Saturday.
Oh God, hardest part of the stream by far. I know we're technically supposed to lose, but I don't want us to lose. I don't really have the heart like today to say that we're going to lose against an ancient rival like United. So I'm going to say 1-1. I mean, even a draw, like just to break this ridiculous cycle run, would be. I take that, but with their defensive problems, I have more confidence now that maybe we could snatch a 2-1 win. But I'm just want to play it safe for once and say like 1-1.
Fair
just
point,
in case I make an absolute fool of myself.
Bobby?
I'm going to have to. There it is. You know what? There's my answer. There you go. There's my answer. If I don't support my children now, I can't expect their support. So, like my son says, let's be the optimistic Spurs fans and go with 5-0. But I don't think that they're slouches. I think they're going to have something to come out and kind of play for as well. They're going to know that this is the game that's really going to kind of impact who finishes in fourth and everything like that. And it is a big game. Even though we've got a lot of games left in the season still, that this is the one that is going to make a big difference later on. We all know 1 point or something like that can make a massive difference. Morning, Mark. And the realist in me says I think we can get off a 2-0 win against them. I think that if our back line can hold and play their positions properly, I don't see their forwards kind of having the ability. They just seem disjointed up front, whereas we seem disjointed at the back. So it'll be an interesting morning, Aaron.
I was just going to say this is my score line too. So yeah, I'm a 3-1 Spurs. I think to your point, Bobby, and to sort of what we've been speaking about, they're struggling scoring goals just generally. They haven't for the last 6 or 7 games. They're not scoring a lot of goals. They don't look like they're fluid. Their defense in particular are struggling massively, and we're currently buzzing going forward. You look at the 9 goals in 2 games, with 1 goal against in the last 2 games in the Premier League against teams who are open. Yeah. This team's going to be open against us. I see goals. I don't see us struggling against their defense. I think Maguire is just going to be shattered trying to defend against Harry Kane and Heung-min Son and Kulusevski. So for me, it's 3-1 Spurs. I think
Maguire's got less pace than this guy.
Yeah, I think it'll be tight early on. I think like the first 15-20 minutes, it's going to feel like, oh, this is going to be a hard one. And then I think what we saw against Everton, similar thing will happen to United. We're going to come out hard against them, and we're going to easily score goals. And I think that's going to be the difference here. And I think our defense will stop them. I think 1 goal, and again, they're not scoring a lot. So that's my thoughts. It's time for a segment we like to do on the show. That just on the podcast we do this. It's time for. Who are you, Bobby K?
Got you off guard, man.
It's an opportunity to, whenever we have a guest onto the podcast, we like to get a little bit of their background about how you became a Spurs fan.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I thought you were going to ask me trivia questions.
No trivia.
Here's a picture of this guy from 1922.
Yeah, you're not a fan. Just really wanted to find out what your thoughts were on, not what your thoughts were, what your history is with Spurs. How'd you become a Spurs fan? You're obviously passing it on to your kids as well, and give us a little bit of a background on that.
Yeah, it was actually, I can tell you, I had this conversation a little bit this morning. It was 92. I was in England for my cousin's wedding. I have an older cousin named Jag, who I absolutely adore. He's like a big brother to me. And all my cousins at the time were all United, Liverpool, not even as much Chelsea, but Arsenal at the time and everything. And he was the only one that's a Tottenham fan. And he absolutely adored the club. I was watching pre-wedding, I was watching a United game with my cousins in the room, and I just watched Ryan Giggs, and I thought he was just phenomenal. I love this guy. But then I realized everybody in the room was a United fan. And there's 2 cousins in the room that I was like, I don't even like you. We're related, but I don't even like you. And then
the rivalry began, right?
Yeah, so then
those 2 cousins.
I can't say their names. My mom gets mad about stuff like that. So but
call them out.
Yeah, no kidding. But then European Championships was started up too, right? So in Denmark there, and I watched that a little while later, and I saw Teddy Sheringham just be absolutely amazing, and it was the game against Bulgaria, I think it was, where he sent that ball up to Les Ferdinand, and just from, he dribbled through 3 players and just launched the ball from midfield and just put it right on Ferdinand's chest. And it was just one of the most beautiful things I'd seen. So from there, I was just like, oh my God, what a pass, what a dribble, this guy's amazing. I love this guy. And I still remember my cousin's face and the smile he turned to me with, and he was just like, that's Teddy Sheringham. He plays for Tottenham. And that was it. The love at first sight kind of thing. And I just became a big Sheringham fan and everything like that, and latched on to Spurs. And unfortunately, I'm a loyal dog. So once I kind of take a bite of the bone, that's my bone, and I stick with it, through good times and bad. Because even at the time, I think when I started following them, they were 14th in the table at the time. I think they ended up finishing 10th.
Same with me, buddy. 93, 94.
Yeah, so it's forget, like, you don't even bother trying to ask me who was on the team or anything. If I can remember Sheringham, Anderton, and
we didn't really get to experience.
I think it was Walker and net at
Canada,
the time.
Bobby,
and
at the time.
I was, yeah. That's what I've been here my whole life. I was born in Leicester.
We weren't able to watch games, right? We
couldn't watch games. The only thing we had the Toronto Sun, and the only thing we got at the back was the table.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even tell you who scored.
And Soccer Saturday sometimes.
The odd time, yeah, but that was later on.
Yeah.
That was only maybe the last 15 years or so. That wasn't in the 90s.
No, Soccer Saturday with Graham Leggett on TSN was started in the 90s.
Was it in the 90s? Yeah.
Okay. It was mid 90s, 94.
Jeez, lads, you had it rough.
Anyway, we had Graham Leggett, a Scottish lad, who would talk football, and he would go over the scores very quickly and then talk about Liverpool or United.
That
was it.
That was it. We were never spoken about. We were nobodies. We were,
and for good reason. We really weren't anybody. So.
No, we were a mid-table team at best and everything. But you know what? Then this is where the argument begins. Would you rather be a mid-table team that has a trophy or two, or would you rather be, finishing 4th with nothing?
I don't have the brain power to answer.
You want to start that argument now or at the end of the show?
I'm not starting the argument, but I'm just saying, like, at the time for me, when I was watching, I still watched them play exciting football where it was just like, oh, wow, we lost that game 3-2, but that was a good game to watch. You know, when we go back and we watch that Burnley game and we're just sitting here pulling our hair out going, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then we watch that Middlesbrough game that just makes us lose our shit, basically, and ruins the rest of our week. Then it's like, you know what, guys? I'm not going to say I don't care that we lose, but I won't care as much. I accept it if we put in an effort.
Yeah, for sure.
If you lose going down, if fighting, in anything you do in life, that's all I tell my kids to try. I don't give a shit if you fail, but at least as long as I know you tried. But if you failed without trying, then you're going to be a failure in everything.
Yeah, that's a good show.
That's got to happen. Sorry.
Favorite player to play for Tottenham since you've started supporting them? Teddy's number one. Okay, so favorite player.
I've got right over there. I would move the camera and show you.
No, we don't want unprofessional behavior.
No. I've got a really beautiful gift last year from my best friends who got me an autographed Teddy Sheringham captain's armband with his picture and everything. And I don't know where they found it, because I've been looking for something, Sheringham, and the only thing I find is 8x10s. Like, he doesn't seem to sign too much stuff and everything like some of the other players. We can find scarves and boots and this and that and everything else. So when I got this, it was just, it was one of the greatest things. And then their mom actually painted me a picture of the new stadium. She just started painting in her 70s, and she's painted me this beautiful picture of the stadium, put me and the kids in the bottom corner and everything like that. So it's.
Have you been yet?
Not to the new stadium. I've only ever in England gone to one game. It was at Wembley. It was, I have the scarf here, Wednesday, January the 30th against Watford. And it was because of a lovely man named Josh Sandhu and the Punjabi Spurs community over there, that group that basically got me the tickets and everything. And I was sitting 11th, 12th row behind the net, right behind Lloris and everything. And it was just, it was a rainy, shitty, cold night, which for Canadians is spring. So, but it was funny because there was only, I think it was like 34,000 people in the stadium, which is
nearly half.
It's only the lower bowl.
For Wembley, it looked empty. I was looking around. I was like, holy crap, this is not great. And then when I saw the attendance number, I was like, wait a minute. If we were, at BMO Field in Toronto, that's full. People spilling over the field and falling out, right? So it was just a really great experience. I met some really nice people and everything like that. And it was just, It was really great. I really want to look forward to getting.
We got to plan a trip. We should do a Canadian infiltration of the new stadium. I haven't been
yet
either.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Did you go to the July game when TFC did that testimonial game with Defoe?
Yeah.
So that was my first
Spurs.
game. Yeah, that was my first game here, and that was Jay's first game. He was, I think,
that was Poch's first season with the club as well.
So that's my first game, and then this is the second live one I've ever got to. So
favorite player currently?
You know, I don't like to always go with the obvious. It's Kane, but that's okay. You know, I really had a soft spot at the time for. I really love Sonny. I just love the way the guy plays with the smile on his face. That's Christian. That's Christian's favorite player, and he just, you know, he's always playing with a smile. He's infectious. Like he's got that $1 billion smile that could just light up a room and make you feel better about yourself. He just, you know, and the things you see him do off pitch and, you know, going over to little kids and stuff like that. He's just a great guy. But then it's you know, Kane, the same thing. You cannot say anything to bad about him.
He's just a little bit boring, I think. I think that's the thing about Kane. He's just
not as charismatic.
He's so professional that he doesn't allow personality to come out a little bit, and it's a little. But from a player perspective, from a quality, I mean, Harry Kane is just he's levels above everybody on the pitch all the time. When his form is there.
Yeah. So. Sorry. Next.
No, I was just gonna that was it. I was just trying to see who your favorite players. A favorite goal scored? Do you have a favorite goal scored by any Spurs player?
That Kane goal against Arsenal where he ripped his mask
from
off
the corner,
to me is still
epic.
I still remember seeing that goal, and I was watching it with both these guys beside me, and this one's face just the way he looked over at me, he was just like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Dad, we won the lottery kind of thing. Like,
hey, question about your boys. How much do they understand the rivalry? I know that one of them is older than the other, so probably one more so than the other. But because that was against Arsenal, did they get that in any way?
He did.
Probably because of you, right?
He doesn't at the time.
He
did.
Still,
now
right?
He does.
Okay.
Now they do, because we've got my cousin is a big Arsenal fan, and the boys adore him. He's a great guy, but he's not allowed to come here to watch those games with us anymore because he's watched 2 games with us in my house, and Arsenal has won both those games. And my big one turned around to him that day and said, "You're not coming back." And I was just like,
"Gets in there."
I love how he stamped down the authority.
He was. You know, I think this is a couple of years ago too. He's 15 now, so he was about 12 or 13. He turns around to his uncle and is like, "Yeah, you're not coming back."
So he's 15. He gets it even more so. Like he understands the rivalry and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what's funny though? But this one here, he's so football mad. Like even now, I'm surprised that he's in here because normally he'd be sitting there watching. You know, he watches Spurs replays. Spurs, he'll go back. He'll tell you about Jimmy Greaves and everything, and the old players and Steve Perryman and Glenn Hoddle, all this stuff. And he'll come out and spit these facts out to me. That's like, Dad, did you know that?
We got to get him on the
Perryman
trivia.
Did this, that. And it's just like, wow, like it's absolutely fantastic, man. He's just really. I just love the passion they have for it because they're teaching me too. You know, that's what's great about it.
Kind of reminds you a bit about what you love about it too, right? Because kids are so innocent; they have this innocent sort of love for something, and it's not clouded by the nonsense that we go through on a daily basis on social media and other stuff. But Bobby, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. You're obviously always welcome on this channel anytime. You are part of what we do, and we really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you giving me the time. You know, because of you guys, it's this addiction started, and you've brought me into the family.
We dragged you in, and you're never gonna.
That's it. There's no getting out now. And
we want to apologize for Mr. Brian Daigle not being here, the prick who didn't show up today.
Come on. There's English fans here, you wanker.
Yeah, you wanker. We'll
that's
find,
how you really feel.
We'll find out what's going on. But I want to thank everybody in the comments, everybody for the super chats, everybody who's been here with us today. Really appreciate your support. Absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to the weekend. Any last words, Adam or Bobby, before we head out?
Like I said, I just really appreciate the opportunity, guys, and thank you for letting me meet all of you, everybody that's in these channels and everything, and the Spurs community and the people in the chat and everything. Yeah. And you know, it's great, and it's just funny to me how great things are when we win. Yeah. And so let's just keep I just want to keep this feeling. You know what I mean? Just let me feel like this. Stop bringing that black cloud back over every couple of days. So let's just hope that we can get in there, get the result on Saturday. Let's get those 3 points and bring down Old Trafford, and hopefully the fans are leaving by the 30th minute.
Fantastic.
That's what I want to see. So come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, Bobby. Adds anything to add before we sign off, buddy?
Yeah, just want to thank this guy down below for coming on. Sorry, I'm starting to stutter a bit, so I just want to thank him as well. Thank everyone in the chat as well. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. And also, like something we never mentioned is that if you want to get in contact with us as well, the links to all our socials and stuff are in the description. So go give us a follow and all that stuff as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, lads and lasses.
Cheers. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.
Maybe out.
Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour.